What do Off-White, Knoll, and NASA have in common? Besides being leaders in their respective fields, all of these companies are known for using the world's most popular font. Behind the hype, Helvetica. Originally named Die Neue Hast Grotesk, Helvetica is a Swiss font that was designed in 1957 to be a neutral typeface with no specific meaning or references. Today, Helvetica has become the Kleenex of sans serif fonts, ubiquitous for its legibility and minimal aesthetic. The font's neutral design largely stems from the fact that it's a sans serif font, meaning it lacks extended tails called serifs at the end of strokes. The font's simplicity and lack of deeper meaning allows it to be applied to just about any situation, from airplanes to sneakers and to social media posts. Part of Helvetica's widespread popularity is due to its availability. For many years now, it has been available as a free font on both Macs and PCs. Versions of Helvetica are even available in Japanese, Korean, Hebrew, Greek, Chinese, and more. Helvetica is a rare font that is lovingly embraced by both the design community and the general public. But as with any product, success paves the way for the emergence of lookalikes. Steinhardt, NB Academy, and Neue Hast Unica are just a few modern fonts closely related to Helvetica. The most notorious example, though, is when Apple decided to ditch Helvetica Neue for a very similar in-house font called San Francisco in 2015. The reason? Helvetica proved difficult to read on small screens, and the company was about to unveil its smallest screen yet, the very first Apple Watch. As the world transitioned to mobile, Helvetica faced an increasingly pressing roadblock. Monotype, the company that owns Helvetica, aimed to address the font's dilemma in 2019 by creating Helvetica Now, a new version of the typeface that is designed to be sized up or down to fit any screen. Over the past few years, many luxury brands have opted for more minimal Helvetica-esque sans serif logos instead of their long-standing heritage ones. Examples such as Burberry, Balmain, and Saint Laurent, just to name a few. But why opt for simplicity over intricacy? For many luxury fashion houses, sans serif fonts like Helvetica are a chance to mark a new chapter in history. Rimowa said in a statement that its new sans serif logo's versatility is an indication of Rimowa's future ambitions. And for newer brands, Helvetica in particular allows a total freedom of expression unpolluted by the personality of script or serif fonts. Virgil Abloh has been quoted comparing Helvetica to the diagonal stripes found in many off-white designs, noting that the clean font allows him to combine many different design languages under one seamless umbrella. Other brands like Hood by Air, The North Face, Fendi, and Fragment Design are also known for using Helvetica or similar sans serif fonts. Heck, we even use Helvetica as our own default font here at Hypebeast. Though perhaps the most frequently seen example of Helvetica is across Facebook and Instagram, where the two platforms utilize the font within posts. So take a look around and try to spot how many times Helvetica, or one of its lookalikes, pops up in your daily life, whether it be flying American Airlines or even checking out Hypebeast.
I'm a modernist. I was trained in that period, lived in that period. I love modernism. I go next week to London to see the exhibition of modernism. I want it, well, that's my life. I'm surrounded with furniture from that period, and I can't change myself anymore. But if I see today designers, they use all typefaces and through each other. One day one typeface, the other day the other typeface, all in favor of a certain atmosphere. I don't like that. Shall I begin? Sure. I made these post stamps on the style movement. In the beginning, if you see the sketches, I tried to use typefaces from Van Doesburg, one of the artists of the style movement. Then I decided for the final designs not to use this typeface because the illustration is already from the period, and I used the most neutral typeface, Helvetica. The Helvetica was a real step.
The way something is presented
from the 19th century typeface. It was
so you
a
can
little
take
more
the same
machined.
message and present it in three different
doing
typefaces.
away with
The response to that, the immediate emotional response will
details
be
in it.
different.
And we were
And the choice of
impressed by
typeface
that
is the
because
prime
it was more
weapon,
neutral. And neutralism was a word that we loved, you know.
And I say
It should
weapon
be neutral.
largely because
it shouldn't have a
these
meaning
days
in
with
itself.
commercial
It should
marketing and advertising.
the meaning is
The way the
in
message
the
is
content
dressed
of the text, and
is
not
going to
in the
define our
typeface.
reaction to that
And
message.
that's why
in
we
the
loved
advertising.
Helvetica very much.
So if it says buy these jeans and it's a grunge font, you would expect it to be some kind of ripped jeans or to be sold in some kind of underground clothing store. If you see that same message in Helvetica, you know it's probably on sale at Gap, that it's going to be clean, that you're going to fit in, you're not going to stand out.
All of us, I would suggest, are prompted in subliminal ways. Maybe the feeling you have...
Now, should I talk? Should I not talk? I mean, you want to say something?
Look familiar?
Say
This
something,
font
say
is
nothing.
called Helvetica New. You've probably seen it before, because, well, it's everywhere.
Life of a
No,
designer
seriously,
is a life
everywhere.
of fight.
A few years
Fight
ago, a graphic
against the
designer
ugliness.
tried to live a day
Just
in
like
New
a doctor
York
fights
without seeing the
against
font.
disease.
He struggled to find
For us,
clothes,
visual disease
transport,
is what
and
we
even
have
food
around,
that didn't
and what we
feature
try
the
to do is to
typeface.
cure it somehow.
Popular with Madison
design.
Avenue in the 1960s, the font began popping up on products, signage, and more.
Good
But in the last few
always
years, a
had
large number of
sensitivity
brands
about
who
the
previously
distance
used the
between
font
letters.
have switched
We think
to
typography is
typefaces.
black and white.
What's interesting
Typography
is that
really
you may
white.
not have
You
noticed.
know, it's not even
In
black.
2011,
it is the
people
space
switched to
between the
using
blacks
original
that
font
really
called
makes it.
Botto.
In a sense, it's like music.
2013,
It's not the
Apple
notes.
switched to
It's the
its
space
own
you put
original
between
font,
the notes that
San
makes the music.
Francisco. And in
For instance,
2016,
we designed the
started
corporate
using a
identity
new
for
font
American
called
Airlines.
Sans.
This is done in
What do all
1966,
these fonts
and the
have in
novelty
common?
at the time was
Well,
the fact
to the
of making
lazy
one
eye,
word
they
instead
all
of two
look a lot
American
like Helvetica.
Airlines by making American
In the
Airlines
last
for
couple
one
of
word,
years,
half
more
red
brands
and
have
half
followed
blue.
suit,
Just
creating
separated by
bespoke
color.
fonts
What people
built
are American
exclusively
red and
for
blue.
them,
You know, so it's
including
perfect.
Coke, IBM,
It's the only
Netflix,
airline
and
in the last 40
AIB.
years that has not
But
changed
why?
their identity.
What's wrong with simple
All the
old
airlines
Helvetica?
come and go and they change it. American Airlines still the same, and there's
The
no need
story
to change
of
it. And how they
Helvetica
can
begins
improve?
in
They got the best
1956
already.
at the Haas Type Foundry in
American
Switzerland.
Airlines in Helvetica.
Haas was finding the sales of its sans serif typefaces
We always had the
dwindling
tendency to
as
use very
designers
few
switched to the
typefaces.
new international style.
It's not that we
Looking
don't
at its
believe in that.
predecessors in the
We
Haas
believe that
Type
there are not
Foundry
that many
lineup,
good
you can
typefaces.
see the resemblance to the font
If
we
you want,
use
if I
today.
want to be really
Work on
generous, it's a
Helvetica
dozen.
began in 1956
Basically, I
by
use no more than
identifying
3.
the most
There are
distinctive
people that
features
think
of
that
these
the
fonts.
type should be
Horizontal
expressive.
stroke terminals, large
They
X
have a
height,
different
and
point of
tight
view
spacing.
from mine.
After
I don't think
debuting
type should
at
be
Graphic
expressive at all.
57, a
I can
trade
write
show,
the word dog
new
with
Haas
any
grotesque
typeface, and it
was
doesn't
an
have to look
immediate
like a
success.
dog, you know.
Soon,
But there
many
are
graphic
people that
designers
when they write
adopted
dog,
it,
it should
believing
bark,
it to become
you
a
know.
hallmark of contemporary Swiss graphic design.
What
In
Helvetica?
1959,
It's a
Haas
typeface
Type
that
Foundry
was
made a deal
generated
with
by
D-Stempel
a desire
AG in
of
Germany
having
to manufacture
a better
the font
legibility.
for the linotype machine.
It is a modern
This
type.
move helped the font reach
It is a
international
very clear
customer base.
type.
The name
It's good for
New
everything,
Haas Grotesque
pretty
was
much.
soon changed
You can
to
say I
something
love you
a little easier to
in
remember,
Helvetica,
based on the
and
word
you can say it
Helvetica,
with Helvetica extra light if you want to be really
Helvetica
fancy, or you can
became
say
the
with the
font's
extra
name.
bold if it's really intensive and passionate, you know, and it might work. You can also say I hate you, you know. I can write, you know, I certainly can write few letters in Helvetica. Am saying that? You know? To Washington in particular, if I can put it that way. When Helvetica came about, we were all ready for it. It just had all the right connotation that we were looking for anything that had to spell out loud and clear, modern.